What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at more retro cup battles, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at Annihilape in the retro cup. Now, Annihilape obviously is going to be weak to your flyers, and one of its main weaknesses in this meta actually is Oranguru, a confusion user. Obviously, fairies are banned, so that's not really something you have to worry about too much, unless someone's running something spicy, like a non-fairy charm user, well, which does exist, but at least for this meta, one of the main things we're looking at is Annihilape and flyers. And those flyers are often dragons as well, like Altaria and Dragonite you'll see a lot of. But more specifically, we're going to be looking at a line that existed last season that was very popular at high elos, and that was Annihilape, Dugong is the safe switch, and then Bastiodon on the back. But instead of Bastiodon, we've replaced it with Dunsparce. So a pretty cool line, two anti-flyers in the back. Both are kind of like safe swaps, so you can use either one depending on whichever is a weaker safe swap into what is the best Pokemon on the lead. And we're going to be also looking at the move sets on Annihilape in this meta. And the reason I have that pulled up is because the recommended move set is Rage Fist and Close Combat, which is a great move set in the Open Great League. Not as good in the Retro Cup. You can potentially look at Ice Punch and Night Slash, because Night Slash does give you that super effective coverage on Oranguru, and it could be a nice little surprise move. Obviously, Rage Fist is single resisted, double resisted on the normal, single super effective on the psychic. But we today are going to be looking at Rage Fist Ice Punch, which, as you can see in the bottom one there, actually picks up one matchup, and that matchup is Altaria, because you can two-shot with the ice punches, and because of the new pacing, you actually, I think, pace to 3 before they pace to 2, maybe. But yeah, so that's the only one with a positive average, and it goes 15, 17, and 1, as opposed to the other two movesets that we looked at there. So let's hop right into some battles and take a look at Rage Fist Annihilape. In the first few sets, you'll probably see I'm actually on Close Combat Rage Fist, but I do eventually switch over to Ice Punch. But into the first match, we actually come across a bad lead in Gligar, and then we switch into Dunsparce and instantly countered again with their own fighter in the back. So they have Primeape. They don't throw right away, so I'm going to at least grab the shield, even though I'm not throwing on great timing, because I'm going to let this go either way. They farm up. They've got a lot of energy here, unfortunately, and they're actually running Night Slash. They could run Night Slash and Rage Fist, but I probably am going to come back in with my Annihilape and not respect the first either way. But it is just the Night Slash. That's actually huge. We're not going to get the full counter down before they make a third Night Slash, but that's okay because this one will KO, and then we're going to instantly swap into our Dugong because we know in the back our Annihilape has no play into that Gligar. But then they swap into their Toxapex. So we've got a Dugong. Fortunately, we've got that super effective coverage, which is nice. I am going to shield a Sludge Wave here because that would do a lot of damage. I'm very glad they didn't bait. Looks like my opponent might be lagging there, or they just didn't throw a fast move. I'm not really sure. Yeah, okay, so my opponent looks like they resigned the match. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit here. And we take the win. Okay, into the next match. Superior. So I think this is one of the matches I'm on. Yeah, so I'm still on Close Combat. I do switch over to the Ice Punch eventually, which actually would have been pretty nice in this matchup here. But I do farm up right to when they would have made it to their next move, and I full send the Close Combat, and that does KO, which is nice. So we win switch, and then they come in with their Talonflame, so we can now align our Dunsparce onto this Talonflame. I will respect a potential Brave Bird here. It wouldn't KO, but it would get me very close. It is just the fly, and then they have a Dunsparce of their own in the back. So I'm actually kind of glad I shielded that, because now I can just stay in this matchup. Dugong doesn't have a terrible matchup into Talonflame, but it does not have a great matchup into Dunsparce, especially down shields. So we're more than comfortable staying in this matchup. Looks like 2 drill runs won't quite KO, so I am going to let this go to incentivize my opponent to not shield as well. I wish I had thrown that drill run. That would have been nice. Fortunately for me, they actually don't throw, and then they come in with their Talonflame. So that lets me overfarm a little bit, make it to an Icy Wind. I would not be surprised. Yeah, so I actually make it to 2 Icy Winds. So now I'm probably not going to be shielding anything here. At least not the first move, I imagine. Yeah, so I'm going to let the first one go. Fly does not KO. I think I can get the full farm down if I shield this. I have to be aware of the switch timer here because switch timer might be up. So yep, I switch. I get 1 roll out and then into the drill run. So this should KO. And then 1 roll out should KO before their incinerate registers. And we take the win. Into the next match, Clodsire. So Clodsire, we're on the Ice Punch now, so that's actually good because Clodsire would be a little tough. Otherwise, we'd have to just go Rage Fist. I'm not expecting them to shield the first, so I'm just going to full send the Ice Punch on CMP. This could be an Earthquake, but I am going to let this go because they can't farm down. Poison Sting is resisted, and you're seeing it's not doing too much damage. And then they come in with a Feraligatr. I think I bluff a close combat here. And then I come in with my Dunsparce. Obviously, 2 Hydro Cannons actually will not KO because they're the non-shadow. Yeah, so I can survive 3, which is huge because although they can survive more than 1 drill run plus the rollouts, as you can see there, they throw right away, giving me a full rollout for free, which is nice. They get off the Hydro Cannon. I will try and take this, just making sure I can maintain switch here without giving up a shield because we're still at switch advantage. I've got 2 Pokemon that are low, so I'm just going to come in Dugong right away. With 2 shields, I'm feeling pretty comfortable about the Dugong matchup here. Of course, Cresselia does have super effective Grass Knot, so I will obviously be shielding probably the first 2 moves here. They do have the ability to reset, so I do have to be aware of that, and they do right away. This could be a super effective Stone Edge, so I will respect this. It is, so I'm probably going to farm up a little bit more. And now I'm going to get off this Icy Wind. And if they shield this, which they do, I'm going to come in with Annihilape because they're not going to get the farm down. That forced them to throw, which means I can then come back in with my Dugong, get the full farm down. Now we come out with an Icy Wind loaded, so we can debuff this Cresselia, make sure we can very comfortably survive this Grass Knot. We didn't wait the timer, so we don't really have a catch opportunity coming up anytime soon. Fortunately, it looks like we are going to survive. We're only going to survive 1 more move, so we're just going to go for the harder hitting drill run here. I'm not going to make it to another move, so I just come in Dunsparce. They cannot Psycho Cut me down, and we are able to take the win. Okay, Dragon Island lead. This is not a good lead. Obviously, 2 good answers in the back. So we come in with Dunsparce because we have 2 good answers, but Dugong would be a better answer. And then they actually make a really nice Rock Slide catch onto their Cresselia, so that actually does like 15 less damage or something than the drill run. So nice catch by my opponent, but now we're just going to go for the drill runs here. This is a very neutral matchup, and because they caught, it does mean that it's going to be a little uncomfortable for them to come out of this matchup with a lot of energy. They do full send a Moonblast, which is pretty interesting. And then they farm up just before I make it to another drill run. I do end up letting that go, and then I'm just going to come in and counter down with the Annihilape. I will respect a potential Moonblast here. It is just the Grass Knot. We get the full farm down. They come back in with the Dragonite, so we're going to at least try and grab that shield back before we switch into our Dugong. And then we switch into the Dugong, They throw right away, so this could have been a potential catch. I don't know if they reacted in time. Yeah, so it's just a Dragon Claw. We let that go. It's not a superpower. Um, my opponent comes in with a Rangaroo in the back. So this is a tough matchup because Trailblaze is super effective and it rebuffs their attack. So Dugong doesn't have a great matchup here. I will still shield this because I will have the potential to come in with my Annihilape after one more Icy Wind. They should burn enough of the switch timer, and then after I get this off, they are going to be 1x debuff, so now I'm going to come in with Annihilape. This forces them to throw their energy to waste their switch timer because our timers are desynced, but they did just get rid of all their energy, but they actually just barely make it to a Dragon Claw before we're able to make our move, but that means they should be energy dry. We get the Ice Shard down. Can we make it to an Icy Wind before they confusion us down? And yes, it looks like maybe 2 turns worth of damage, just barely surviving. And that's just the downside of a 4-turn move right there. Oranguru, very safe in this meta, especially with Manabuzz gone, but 4-turn moves, man, I don't know. Okay, Flygon into this matchup. They throw right as they get to the move, so I'm just going to shield this up. Thankfully, they give me a full counter for free. I don't need to go Ice Punch in this matchup because even a Rage Fist from this range probably nearly takes out after these counters. Yeah, and it buffs our attack, and we're only going to go to one move here, so we may as well go for the boosted, super effective Ice Punch onto this Dragonite. So we've already seen that, oh, what lag there. I've already seen 2 dragon Pokemon, and then they have a Tentacruel in the back, so pretty interesting for my opponent. I'm going for the Icy Wind here because I don't care whether they shield or not. Even if they call the bait here, I'm just switching into my Dunsparce, and yeah, my opponent resigns the match. They do not have a chance there. For Alligator into the next match. So obviously for Alligator, there's a little bit of a tough lead. You can either go for the CMP catch, so I could have caught on 6 there onto my Dugong, or you can just come in Dunsparce right away. It's kind of either way. We are going to farm up here. You're going to go for the Rage Fist. This should be able to KO if they let it go, which is nice. So we actually take Switch. And then they come in with a Rangaroo. So I'm actually going to let them fully farm me down, but get to this Ice Punch, so it does do decent amount of damage, especially boosted, but they actually respect the potential close combat there, which is nice. So now we're even shields. We have Switch, so we can put our Dunsparce on this Oranguru. And 3 verse 4 tune is 3 verse 4 turn is very easy to throw. You just throw 1 in the move. It's always very convenient. It looks like this might take us out, but even, or not take us out, but put us low enough that they can farm us down. We're actually 1 away from the move again, so they might just let this go. If they don't, we can just come in with Dugong, or we're quickly swapping anyways, and it is a Talonflame in the back. So we'll shield the first no matter what. We will probably do 3 and the move to throw on perfect timing. 1, 2, 3, perfect. Icy Wind. This will debuff, so even if they Brave Bird here, oh, and then they don't throw again, so obviously I'm going to debuff again. 1 in the move is fine as well. So now this is going to do like no damage. They were trying to throw in good timing, which is why they let me get to that move. But now Fly does virtually nothing. We catch the second Fly because we saw that it was just enough damage onto the Dunsparce, and then we come back in with the Dugong, get the full farm down, come out with a move loaded, and we actually take that win. Poliwrath and Lead. Okay, so this is a good matchup, especially now with Rage Fist. Night Slash and Ice Punch would both be resisted, so it's actually kind of nice that we have Rage Fist in this match. I believe Poliwrath actually probably still wins the zeros. And no, because we would survive a Scald from this range and they wouldn't be able to counter us down. But we do respect a potential Scald. But it actually, with the boost, we can get the full farm down. And then they come in with just a Cresselia, so that's pretty nice. If this is their best answer to Annihilape up energy, I am a little bit worried about what is in the back. So I would not be surprised if I actually switch here. Yeah, so I get off that Rage Fist, and then I switch into the Dunsparce. They throw an alignment, allowing a full rollout through. And they full send a Future Sight. So, and they're also not switching out of this matchup. So now I'm wondering what could possibly be in the back. something that is weak to both rock and fighting. So that's probably an ice type, right? So maybe they have their own dugong in the back, and there it is, right on schedule. There's the dugong in the back. So it's a good thing we saved our Annihilape. Um, I could have switched right there, or I don't, and then I come in with my own dugong. A little bit interesting plays going on here, but I guess the Crest does have some HP, and they do still have a shield. It looks like my opponent wins CMP, so they have a higher than 4 attack dugong, which is pretty surprising. But we are going to get off this drill run. I'm probably not going to throw it right away on the next drill run because now I know my opponent wins CMP, and I might be able to get the full drill run farm down. I'm also going to let this go. Maybe thinking I can survive it, and then I can. They try and snipe with the crest. We're going to get the Icy Wind off. Come in with the Dunsparce. Oh, we just barely can't get to a move there. Hoping that the Psycho Cut would do less damage. We do still have a shield, though. They're only going to get to 1 move, so my opponent knows that, and they resign the match. Dragonite on the lead again, so this is another bad matchup. We come in with Dunsparce, and this opponent throws right away. That means that should not be a superpower if they outpace. And then they come in with Miltank. So I am just going to get off these neutral drill runs when I can. I'm going to throw right away, making sure I get all the chip that I can, because they are going to come out with a lot of energy. Even if they take us out right here, yeah, they are farming up. It's a good overfarm by my opponent. They're just going to Body Slam and take us out. And then they're going to have either Ice Beam or Thunderbolt to hit my Annihilape here, which is okay. We're still going to get the farm down, come out with some energy with an Ice Punch to threaten the Dragonite. It could be said that I should just go for a Rage Fist here because they're going to shield absolutely everything anyways, but let's see what they do. They come in with the Dragonite. I actually bank a Rage Fist, and then I come in with my Dugong, and my opponent is running a Dunsparce of their own in the back, which is unfortunate because this is not a great matchup for Dugong, but any bad matchup for Dugong with 2 shields is actually a good matchup for Dugong. So you're going to see, even though they throw on CMP here, that I'm going to shield this, get off this Icy Wind, and now these rollouts and rock slides are going to do virtually nothing. At this point, I was thinking that they were going to farm up to a catch, but they actually just farm up to CMP, but they actually throw right away. And then I'm going to go for the catch on the second one. I'm switching into Annihilape. They get like, I don't know how many turns of Dragon Breath as I'm spam clicking it. Just nothing is happening in my game. But they come out with the superpower loaded because of that. And I do not make the move. And my opponent wins the match. So thank you, Niantic. Okay, Diggersby in the lead in the next match. This is really good for us. We have 2 Pokemon that are good against Diggersby. They come in with a Shadow Gyarados, which is crazy. This could be an Aqua Tail or a Crunch, but I will let this go. It's just the Aqua Tail. And because I'm worried about them making another move, I'm actually going to throw this Rock Slide right away, not overfarm by too much. And they let that go. So we keep switch. We don't have to use any shields. That's nice. Now we're just going to get off these drill runs on the Diggersby as they go for the full farm down with a quick attack. I'm not really worried about it. They are going to come out with a lot of energy, but the hardest hitting move Diggersby can throw against Annihilape is Scorching Sands. Obviously Hyper Beam is double resisted, so even if they're running that, I'm not worried. But now I'm going to come in with the Annihilape. I will let 1 Scorching Sands go, but I probably will not let 2 go. Yeah, so I'm going to shield this up. This could be a Fire Punch bait, but it's actually, they full send the Scorching Sands, and then I predict the switch, so I switch as well. And it is a Tropius in the back, so I will shield the first Leaf Blade, because this is a good matchup for us. They do have a 2 shield advantage, though, so we have to basically come back from that. Even though these Ice Shards are double super effective, these Leaf Blades are going to hurt. And fortunately, it looks like 2 will just barely not take out, and we do make another Icy Wind before they make their 3rd Leaf Blade. So now, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if I go for the catch, and then my opponent thinks the same thing. They go for the catch. That lets me get into Annihilape. They let it go, because they have to, and then we farm down the Tropius to take that win. Into the, I believe, the last match of the video, a Bomb Snow. That is a good lead for us. They come in with Feraligatr, we're going to come in Dunsparce. This is pretty typical here. They're going to get off their Hydras. We are going to throw one in the move, and this will either grab a shield or put them deep in the red. We grab the shield, so my opponent might be looking to flip switch here, so I'm going to shield back. Because if I'm going to give them switch, I want to at least force their energy and force both shields. Because Dewgong doesn't have a terrible matchup into a Bomb of Snow, especially if I can get an Icy Wind off. So I probably will save the shield for Dewgong, maybe come in with Annihilape here. Probably not going to be able to get the full counter down is the only issue. I could have thrown a Rage Fist there, potentially that would have been a better play. But let's see what that final Pokemon is in the back. And it's an Altaria. So actually we have the super effective Ice Punches here, so this is pretty nice. We saw that this is the one matchup that Annihilape picks up. And we actually bank the Ice Punch. And then we come in with Dewgong. We actually outpace to the Icy Wind before they get to the Energy Ball, which is huge. Because one Energy Ball will not take out, obviously. Even from a Shadow it wouldn't. Two, however, probably do, yeah. So even two, but a Weather Ball is double resistance. They have to make it to the Energy Ball, and their fast move is double resistance. We actually outpace, get to the next Icy Wind, and now they have to make it to 2 moves, or they lose the game, and my opponent knows that. So they give me the win. But yeah, so that was the team. It is basically just a reshaped old team that existed in the past, just with Dunsparce instead of Bastiodon. I like this honestly better because it's less toxic and you have a little bit more leeway. Oranguru on the lead can be a little tough for this team, so you could run Night Slash if you wanted to, especially just because if you come in with Dewgong, then they can throw the super effective Trailblazes, which they outpace to. So yeah, and then your Icy Winds aren't as great because you're just like neutralizing their attack boosts. So you could come in Dunsparce and hope you get an energy lead somewhere else. But yeah, so it's a little bit trickier to run. I'll be looking into some other cool Pokemon later in this cup. There are obviously the secret Sucker Punch users like Furret and Kecleon, Furfrou. There's some those have some interesting play because of Oranguru. And that dark type coverage, which is kind of absent from the meta right now. And then there's also Bug, which is super effective against Psychic, so we could look at XL Swab Loon again. We could look at Fury Cutter Night Slash Gligar. Jesus, say that 5 times fast. But yeah, that is the team. That is the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace.